What's up, guys? It's Elijah from Eli Gaming. I deleted the last video by accident, and I was in the middle of, and it crashed anyway. I got one more I can do right here. I was doing these and I had a couple cutscenes. I guess a lot of it was deleted, but I could probably just upload the video to YouTube after this.
Time off and health insurance from day
What's
one.
up, guys? It's Elijah from Eli Gaming.
Time off and
The rest of actually. At least have that cutscene in there. Okay, while that's uploading, I'm gonna just leave that right here to get rid of this.
So that it can work for today.
These bands just come off.
I'm gonna take it out in the morning. I'm not gonna be here.
When are these bands just coming off?
You can take a bath tomorrow night.
Okay.
Or Friday morning, but we're not gonna be here tomorrow. Like, go on lunch.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm gonna finish this Fate though because I don't want it to expire. So I'm right here. This one's easier. I'm not gonna be able to do this in time. Work goes that much in the bar, and I got 2 minutes left. Work 3. Actually, the bar is going up pretty fast. You awake? You awake?
Yeah.
Do I need a new CPU cooler if I'm gonna upgrade my CPU?
Do what?
Do I need a new CPU cooler if I'm gonna upgrade my CPU?
I don't know what kind of cooler you have on already.
I don't know what I got either. But it's probably not gonna be good enough for the second best CPU on the market.
Depends on if you got if it's the water cooled, then you're probably okay, but I don't know.
I don't even know where that's located. In the computer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I want to get the 9800X3D and the 5070 Ti.
Yeah.
And I need a new motherboard. And a new PSU, mainly.
Yeah. Well, I think you got a long ways to go before you got all that.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know if I need a new CPU cooler, but probably not.
Probably. It depends on how old yours is currently.
It's a water cooler.
You're probably okay then. But Drew can tell you that. You know.
Yeah.
When are you talking about getting that?
I was gonna start saving up after I get the last 2 games I want.
Oh.
Do I need
What you been doing?
playing
What?
the game?
What were you gonna say?
I said, what do I need new thermal paste? Probably.
Yeah, that's an automatic. Yeah.
It doesn't come with it.
No, it usually comes like the fan.
Yeah. What, the CPU fan?
Yeah.
The cooling fans, I should say.
Yeah.
Probably don't need to upgrade that.
Did you already have dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot of money for a motherboard.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna upgrade it to a DDR5
You mean AM5?
or whatever it is.
Yeah. They're like $300.
For a motherboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. Motherboards are actually not that expensive.
There was one I was looking at that was almost $500.
Hold on a second. Oh, here, let me let you go. Lisa has to show me something.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye, I love you.
Love you, bye. I'll be right there.
That one, I already have a case. I just need this. I already have one of those. I have a 1 terabyte. I already have. I don't need 64 gigs of memory. Sorry, I'm just looking at something on my phone. Confiscated crate. Here's your crate. Get those concerned black market proceed Captain Ilberg to say. Understood. Once you catalog the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? Ryle stated confidently there would be a far greater quantity of weapons. Plan policy current security. Ryle's unfamiliar with ways of old on merchants and other structures using this how scared they are. We should be thankful for this information is not completely erroneous and we managed to achieve anything worth at all. It's still something worth to celebrate and missing. Besides, we've got more important things word like fighting skeletons up north. There'll be no kind of evidence in the state battle or to stand watch on the seaport in battle. We have no further news, so I shall take my news to the living process, but time is forth to the creek, and we'll fight will allow you to bring the wall. Teamwork is always my friend. Rise show that the roll finds under you. Accomplish country shield until we meet again. A word if it please you. I'm here looking for the word. For me, it's Sapphire Island Exchange. No need for whistling this time, don't you worry. Thanks for indulging me in a request. If you place a bet in the market for privacy, I find that all the hustling and bustle commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. So get to the point. As bring them all waiting the captain and interrupt the exchange. What happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. And that's not quite how the first told 3. These dusk whites, they were chasing lace swords that we lost trail. You never saw himself, not before the fight started, not after. Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in my bones. Not deaf enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boast. Our information was reliable. Damn it, I know that he purchased those weapons. As if I'd ever deciphered the money loaners books or had to follow transactions back to its source. Take plenty of that back. When the Braves were getting started believing the commander wanted assurance we weren't taking gills from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these data money flows like water, and the first to get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, my friend, I have a lot of me mind these days, and I appreciate you learning your right the best to get back to it. Eli, can you hear me? This is Tato, your president. This is urgently requesting the right, so please come and see me as soon as you are able. Okay, I will press return and go to the bathroom. After this, I'm gonna go to. Okay, what do I have in here? Not here. Logs, challenge log. That's what I need. Battles. Let's queue up for this.
Disney Plus Hulu Max bundle. It's the ultimate bundle for an unbelievable price. Plans starting at $16.99 a month.
I guess the thing that in the forward present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we?
Anything you can imagine is possible. The Disney Plus Hulu Max bundle. Plans starting at $16.99 a month. All these and more streaming soon. Terms apply. Visit DisneyPlusHuluMaxBundle.com for details.
Ryan Reynolds here for me. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us,
We
brought
have
in
a guest from
reverse
Ishgard who
auctioneer,
wishes
which
to
is
speak with
apparently
you.
a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. Ready to get 30, 30, ready to get 30, ready to get 20, 20, 20, ready to get 20, 20, ready to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month. So,
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Taco Bell's new crispy chicken tacos and burritos are so
Wait,
delicious.
Taco Bell's a chicken place now?
Nope, they're a taco place.
So this crispy chicken taco's from another chicken place.
No, it's from Taco Bell.
But this chicken is all white meat with avocado ranch. Gotta be from a chicken place.
It's coated in crispy tortilla chips. That's Taco Place.
I don't know, it seems like Taco Bell's just a chicken place now.
Well, the crispy chicken also comes in burritos.
What is even real?
Try the new crispy chicken tacos and burritos from Taco Bell. Your taco place is also a chicken place. It's also a taco place.
Participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact code for availability.
Damn it, Dorothy. Do this 4 more times because I gotta do 5 dungeons. This gives good experience. It's worth doing. I leveled up when? I like him. Lunatic priest. Thank you. Mind Flayer. God, that pain meds taste like crap. It's horrible. Freaking gargoyles. Was this the Belfry gargoyles from the Dark Souls 1 and 2? I hate gargoyles because of that. They always piss me off. don't even see that last point. The fuck is that thing? I don't remember this guy. Oh, never mind. Now I do. The wall monster of death. Got launched off the wall, launched off the platform.
Life's too short for compromises, especially when it comes to your food. Grocery shoppers don't have to choose between a great buy and one mind. With our dairy products and groceries, never compromise on saving today. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Ryan Reynolds here from Info. With the price of just about everything going on, we thought we'd bring
Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and Inc. member FDIC.
We have a guest from it. I believe the two of you have.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Levy. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in...
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers, not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The Northern Sky?
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
It's probably Behemoth.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgardsormr had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond arcane. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgardsormr. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust it. We knew you would not disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me...
To prepare for what?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer.
We're not here to battle it, we're here to talk to it. That got heated quickly. Bring me a state out which you are not, but certainly the nature of your destination. As you just state what we now call the Keeper Lakes, the rest of the Agrius, former flagship, and pure fleet and colors for the Great Worm. 15 years ago, his next step was camping subject to the gate. There was a guy who's been by the attempt to seize control and murder some master. Unlike the eye came the orders that aid that day, Midgard summoned legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls. Careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let's not neglect our own tasks. There must be done. Precious time to do it. Again, I just did this. Hello?
Hey, tomorrow go ahead and use the hydrocodone.
What, you mean the...
The Norco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You got plenty out there?
I got like a whole bottle worth.
I don't think it's a whole bottle worth, but...
There's a ton. neck hurts in this chair today. Usually my ass hurts, but today it's my neck. You ain't collecting anybody's soul today. feeling lucky. 160,000 experience. Let's go to Limsa Laminza, and then I'll return to other place. Cause I gotta go check out the recruit.
Let's see what you got. F1 the movie, certified fresh. Ever seen a miracle? What is that? What's happening? Come on! F1 the movie, rated PG-13. Dozens of pages of incoherent just create key points. Like the big rain on Kevin. Hey, Meta, remind me where I parked my car. You're parked in lot 19A. If you were on a road trip and you didn't stop for McDonald's, that wasn't a road trip. It was just a long drive. It's hard not to add a side of hot, crispy hash browns to your favorite McDonald's crust. It's even harder not to eat said hash browns before you get home.
I'll take him. Now we got 4 people. Squadron's now force movements are ready for deployment, sir. Squadron formed. Eric has to enter episode with any promising new recruits on the field needs to discharge one of the existing squadron members that wasn't tasked, but leaving his is for underdeveloped. Now then they say experience is best teachers. How about we jump straight into a simple mission? I already have one with good mental ability. You're my good physical ability. You're my great mental ability. And you're my great tactical ability. I have enough for this, I just don't have enough strength. I need one with more strength. $59 minutes remaining. Music's pretty good. Look, sir, I was about to send word when it's told about the Guardians late. I've been seeing small airships likely from Castle Center go and go from the Keeper of the Lake. I can't see it for certain this and believe they may be salvaging something from Winston Ranch. Castle supply lines been cut for some time, wager there definitely needs spare parts and other equipment. So it's true the Guardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again? Well, from here, that seems rather unlikely, but the assurance they want you to be able to inspect the corpse and its irony. It is just easier said than done, given creatures which have the right. The aforementioned guardians who won't take kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire up an airship, so I'd advise a more stealthy approach. Takes a boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrius to climb to the top. That's the only viable option, I would say. The Keeper of the Lake, now accessible. That was quick. Hardness sniffer. The hell, what kind of dragon is that? BDSM, worst nightmare. Einhander. What a name. Where's the real one? Why do you have a minigun? Why does Einhander need a freaking minigun? You do not need a minigun and a cannon. How many weapons do you fucking need? Magitech gunship, fun. about halfway to level 59. Say, is he dead? Question. Who the fuck is question? Must be a placeholder. Doesn't want to spoil it, probably. Am I fighting? The Keeper of the Lake. Some kind of dragon.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet? Remember, mortal, and fear me.
I don't fear you. Maybe in ff7, but not in this game. fire.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve.
When do the Timberwolves get to pick? They get to pick number 17. They get to pick number 17 in round 1. How many do they get to pick in round 2?
Hey, Spotifyers, click or tap the banner to listen to today's top hits, the hottest 50, brought to you by our friends at Credit Card.
Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star.
Here comes the star of the summer, sweet top lemonade from Sonic. Wow, looking delicious as always. Tell us, what are you wearing? Just very lavender.
My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn.
Try sweet top lemonade from Sonic. Live free. Sonic. Talk about new crispy chicken tacos and burritos are so delicious.
Yeah, okay, so that's gonna round out my coverage for the
for the time being here on our Chat Sports stream. What will happen for the 550 people watching on the Heat Report? I am going to hop off of this stream, go to the Heat stream. We're going to start just in a solo stream of the Heat Report by Chat Sports, where we will talk everything Miami Heat. I will be there in just 1 second, so you're going to just see Smitty here for a brief moment. I will be there to talk everything Miami Heat in just 1 second, so stay true. Be right there, and once I get the go-ahead here, I'm going to hop on.
Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive.
We're next up with the traded pick, actually. That will be with the Portland Trailblazers.
7 children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence.
Are you sure about that?
Mortal, yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain.
That's my guy.
Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent.
Alrighty, well, OKC, man, like they're in just, this is like cherry on top for them. They just won an NBA championship. I'm not even sure Sam Presti's done extensive draft research. No, I'm just kidding, he absolutely has. But, look, whoever gets selected here, don't expect to see yourself be a featured player in the Oklahoma City Thunder rotation next season. They already have enough guys at the end of their bench who deserve to be getting big-time minutes. Like, you can't even find time for Isaiah Joe to get out there, so don't expect...
Fear not,
to be an instant contributor for the Thunder. Who knows, though? If they go an older prospect and they think they can fit in right away, maybe that's what they end up doing. But essentially expect a, you know, like
what did you just do to me?
Last season coming off an injury, had upside, and projected to be potentially a top 5 pick. You know what I think happens here, though, folks? Thunder just go best player available, and I see Kasper Siakachonis run across the screen in a Thunder hat. That would be a Sam Presti move, no doubt about it here. Let's go. We will be plugging this giveaway like I've been talking about with Bill's Super Chat. We are giving away an NBA draft cap of your choice to whoever wins the raffle at the end of today's show. If you send in a $5 Super Chat, that's 1 entry. If you send in a $10 Super Chat, we bump it up to 3 entries. If you send in a 20, it will be 6 entries to get an NBA draft cap of your choice.
What happened?
Whoever ends up winning, make sure you guys stick around at the end of today's
What happened to all my crystals?
So we can kind of coordinate your info and what team, what cap you actually want out there. So send in a Super Chat, $1 in the chat box to contribute. And if you want to get it for free, you can't send a Super Chat, well then you've got to be really active in the chat, because YouTube has this new feature called Top Fans, and if you're the most active running around in our chat during this stream today, then you will get 5 free entries. You got to be number 1 right now. That's Marble Sky, still cooking with a big lead. Yes, 375 XP. It's a new feature here. I'm still trying to get the kinks all sorted out and all that stuff too. So Marble Sky with 375 XP, followed by Legal Latino Heat at XP.
Thou thinkest me, thou art mistaken.
Marble Sky has been doing that all night long.
Thou comest
be like Marble Sky and get active in that
it
chat right
shall
now.
be by another's hand.
City pick has been tipped. I'm not going to say it if it has.
I did but strip thee of thy mistresses,
right now, but there is a player on the board that feels to me too good to pass up.
thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more.
Alrighty, we're going to now talk to the Heat. Stream Rolling will be on your screen momentarily in about 5.
Who the hell is that? Is that my new minion?
Down to the Heat report for all their interaction on tonight's stream, and we will also welcome on in just a moment
The covenant
oh yay!
binds me.
As well, but with this Thunder
I
pick,
shall
we can go in a
watch,
lot of different directions.
listen,
getting some big man depth. But now, we can potentially look at the best available players right now for KC. And Young Jonas is there at the top. Sorber, if they wanted to go big man depth there, that could be a target. Rasheer Fleming, he projects like a Bobby Portis type. Maybe they go that route as well, as they don't really have kind of ball handling. Nick Clifford, another guy who can instantly contribute elite rebounder as well. To recap the draft real quick, Flagler number 1 overall, Harper number 2, no surprise there. Edgecombe and Kneppel, really no surprises at 3 and 4. Ace Bailey goes 2 for the Jazz at 5. Danny Ainge not scared. Trey Johnson at 6 to the Wizards.
I drink of her body, and when it hath grown whole,
from South Carolina.
the dragon song heldeth our beginning and
Cedric Coward at 11 in a trade up for the Grizzlies. He projects to be their starting wing in the future, it seems like. Noah Senge, a kind of a project player, going to Chicago there. I'm not so sure if Andrew Seaman is very happy about that one. Followed by Derek Queen and Cooper Bryant at 13 and 14 to New Orleans and San Antonio, respectively. Now we bring on my guy Harrison Graham for draft. What's going on, Harry?
What's up, man? It's been an interesting night. I think the story so far is Danny Ainge just being like, I don't really care. Ace Bailey, I'm gonna take you.
And he's done that before. Remember, Jason Tatum originally said that he didn't want to be able to something back in 2017.
And that's an executive who has skins on the wall. He's like, you know, if this was a young GM, that might be a little too ballsy for me. But I kind of like it. I'm like, hey, man, like, it's one thing if a player of Cooper Flagg's caliber, if for whatever reason didn't want to go to Dallas, like maybe he could have some pull. But if you're Ace Bailey, it's like, first of all, why do you want to go to the Wizards or the Nets? And second of all, I don't know if you have enough power to just dictate where you want to go. So that's definitely interesting. That may either work out really well or be a disaster probably. So
I don't think about Bailey, especially in Utah specifically. Why did you even apply that for him? You're going to start right away. You had all of the shot selection that you want, and I just don't like, yeah, your marketing's there, but like, you really want to go to a team with literally zero talent whatsoever. Like, at least you got a co-star there who you can lean on a little bit in your early years.
yeah, and at least Ainge knows what he's doing and so on and so forth. So we do have another pick in here. Smitty Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown to the Thunder. What do you think about that?
This is kind of a no-brainer pick for them. If you look at their depth in the front court, Isaiah Hartenstein behind him, like, there really isn't anybody that really is a true center. Yeah, Chet is 7 foot tall, but he really projects more and plays more on the perimeter. This is actually filled out to really be that lockdown anchor of a center just yet. I don't think he ever will be. Now you go get a guy who does fit that mold in Thomas Sorber, who really rose up a lot of draft boards this past year playing at Georgetown, man. He can do a lot of different things with the basketball, and I think, you know, if you have him on the interior inside, he can learn from a guy like an Isaiah Hartenstein and be a bully down low there, and he doesn't have to, you know, necessarily have too big of a responsibility heading into the Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and the Thunder, they're deeper at the guard and wing spots and on their roster right now. And, you know, what if they don't want to pay Chet in a year? You know, get you a little insurance here by adding another big. Is Jalen Williams not the guard Jalen Williams, the bench big Jalen? Is he a long-term piece? Like,
so sure.
This is a guy who you bring in who could potentially help replace him as well, even if it's not the exact same player. So
now he is a young guy, a freshman. He didn't have his season ending.
I still do your Halen Hole. As soon as Minneapolia informed me of Surrey but please your investigation keep like I take it down your report.
For players with an offensive rebound percentage above 9. For players with a defensive rebound percentage above 20. Block percentage above 7.5.
You've converted from mid-guard summer. I swear, where anyone makes such claim, I would regard it with considerable skepticism. Already understand that the Lord did not perish and soon lay dormant these past 15 years. Less of resurrection, more less of resurrection, more rejuvenation for he who dwelleth in eternity, years passing his moments. Those words are ambiguous. Time, one statement left, little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song, "Its shard shall burn." We didn't attack them and show this however, you dare not divulge your conversation with Midgar Summer in its entirety. To even acknowledge you heard the voice of Gervanius, brave but necessary, lest we fit and been excused heritage to hang you much. For your own protection, for our sake of our 10 years relationship, it's probably kicking out in this room. Why? Because they're mad that I want to be with the dragons instead of them, because they're assholes. As for how we shall present our revelation, as our relation story, I'm sure you may leave that to me. Pray it remain for here for now.
It just can't happen. It just can't happen. So Mark Williams now heads over. He's also a guy who's been injured throughout his career as well. So you get a little bit of insurance by selecting Malawash there. And, you know, for a player, Mark Williams, who's a really good rebounder, Malawash not so much. You know, you have a guy who can kind of teach him the ropes there.
Is there something you're not telling us, Hila? You seem different. Somehow it's almost if you're missing something important.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Williams, obviously the Lakers.
12-4 Miss Gummer stripped you of the blessing of the warrior. Are you right? How do you feel? I see his relief to hear that you otherwise unharmed. The beggars believed that any being could possess the power to deprive you of a blessing. Miss Midgar Summer made the mention of the covenant, did he not?
Absolutely, and that's the thing with
One of the ancient minutes regarding servitude. Altec and Naim, brother time and sister fate, declared that Midgar Summer ever watched over the source from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder what if this was the covenant of which spoken twas not the gods whom he treated, but Heidelin herself. Well, if he's watching over you as you claim that, you'll have an opportunity to ask. Let's keep this matter to ourselves so we do not much further for friends needlessly.
We'll get that to you guys momentarily here. And by the way, another reason to subscribe to us is we don't do the BS, ESPN, NBA style of, oh, Memphis is on the clock.
Art thou upon or a master of thy fate? What hast thou brought by thy own hands, mortal?
That's a joke. It's a total embarrassment. So we give you the picks, tell you where the guys are actually going to go. We don't have to play the charades that ESPN does through their contract with the NBA. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications here on today's show. Producers yelling wow in my ear, so not quite sure what that's about, but we will get you this pick.
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Worm Lord and lived to tell the tale.
That's wow, Scotto, wow. Look, this is going to be a rough one for us. This is going to be a rough one. Is he in our database?
I give thanks to Heloni for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. The great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other. The Dravanians are coming.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature.
So, 7-1-250, Hansen Yang. Let's learn about
Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
My goodness, like, look.
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries, and now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord. I dare not presume to speak for him. I must away.
250 pounds. This is ridiculous. What am I supposed to say right now? Are you serious? He represented the Chinese U19 team at the Youth World Cup basketball tournament. He averaged 13 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, and 5 blocks.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different. Why am I not?
Because these guards are bums. Again, good.
He's a fluid athlete. He's got good footwork. He says he's the best low block to the basket player in the draft. 0.986 point per possessions on post-ups. That's really, really good. Shot 74% at the rim. He can pass the ball as well as in the short ball.
Shares a word of the reigns centuries.
That's a stunner. I mean, I know
Nay, nearly 1,000 years, and all that time not once have their enemies breached the defenses in the entire sea property. How strong these magical words be, may be a nebulous fear that they discard into underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgar Summer whose words called on, though one of the first picking up and not being ignored. Until such time as they choose to request already, however, we do not observe the situation, just pray that our fears are unfounded. I hope our fears.
He could be like Dwight Howard, start practicing it. 26% from long range. He's 6 of 21 shooting on mid-range, so he is not
Don't forget, I believe Mona Bria's request to gather and signs assume that there's been progress concerning efforts to combat the assassins. Pray form of their business with their guardians concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I clean my communications with the crystal rays.
Projecting to be a solid player in this league. What's going on, Sam? What we got? Yes. I will not say that name on stream.
Flashes of
Mr.
S?
Yeah, Mr. S. I don't know, man.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Portland, I don't think is cooked. They got Shaden Sharp. They got Scoot. Hopefully he takes a leap in year 3. And look, I think that they're going to try to mold these young players into really good defenders, and then next thing you know, they're going to take a swing for a really solid score. And hopefully Shaden Sharp, Scoot end up being those guys. Denny can kind of take that role as well.
Hansen rocking the all-white suit.
He's got drip.
Not a bad play.
Yeah, he's a massive human being. 7'4" without shoes, and he's probably got clogs on right now.
Wait, 7'4"?
Not 7'4". 7'1".
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking, I mean, I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Hurry up. I only got an hour.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the Void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of.
The Spurs and the Pelicans are the 2 winners of the draft so far.
Yeah,
absolutely. I like that. So, Sorber going to OKC there at 15.
To talk about your favorite team, throw in a super chat. Let us know which name or team you're representing. And
as such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
To make that happen, feel free to do so. You can also enter our raffle ticket for a chance to win an NBA draft hat of your choice. $5 to enter, $10.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the... Hang on a minute. Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether.
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving... Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Screw off, Papalimia, you're a bum.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sawdust to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea.
He's only really a lob threat, dunk, around the rim type of player.
I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
Alexander Walker's a guard wing, so this is kind of just a random.
This is a Gobert replacement.
Yeah, wow.
My goodness.
He's French as well, so there you go. The Frenchman teaming up in Minnesota.
Rolly had an early second-round grade on him, and he called him Damian Jones. So that's not exactly
That's not what you're looking for in this
highest
draft at
regard.
18. No, clearly they feel better about him. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah,
for Minnesota.
I want to see. I'm sure Rolly kind of sold low on the player comp there. I want to see some like higher range player comps for.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing.
Let's see what Kevin O'Connor has.
Yeah, shades up.
All right, the Wizards are now on the clock, I believe. Is that in this spot?
He just got lumped in.
The notable is throw that link in the chat for us.
Yes,
That
sir,
would be
yes, sir.
fantastic, and we'll circle back, give some shout-outs in a minute. But if you want to get a shout-out, retweet our pin tweet. We appreciate all 1,500 and change people watching, so you guys are fantastic, and we'll be here all night long. We'll recap the first round once it's over, and I think Rolly's going to come back for his round 1 grades, so stay tuned for that. Long way to go here on night 1 of the NBA draft.
I'll tell you what, Harrison, for my Boston Celtics, who, for those of you who are watching at Celtics today, I'll be hopping off here around pick 24, pick 25 in order to go cover Celtics solo, and the center board for the Boston Celtics is lining up pretty nicely right now. 2 players who I wanted nothing to do with at 28, Joe Behringer and Hansen Yang. Now you got, your kind of pick of the litter. Could you go Ryan Kalkbrenner? Could you go Danny Wolf? Even Maxime right now. There's a
But tell us,
lot of talent there.
what are your theories?
I think a lot of those guys are getting slept on as older prospects.
I thought you might say that. But no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it
They
out.
could be the first team ever, Smitty, to take 5 players in the first round of the draft if they keep all their picks and select them all. It's never happened.
I don't think that it would be a bad decision to do so either.
Just load up,
Trade
away.
You're gonna hit on 2 of them, and
2 or 3.
Hopefully the guy you picked.
If you have 1 huge
that
pick
guy.
and then 2 solid hits, then that's a pretty good draft.
Pin tweet, finding it right here.
We'll get those shout-outs going momentarily. You got Brooklyn, Miami coming up for Heat fans. Our Heat channel is live. Nick Roloff, host of the Heat Report, getting ready for pick number 20. His worst fear could be coming true pretty soon. Smitty Walter Clayton Jr. We may have to do a live look-in.
I know.
Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether.
Shout-out, go retweet our pin tweet. Link
Ideally, I need an isolated...
May I suggest Northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought.
Let's go
Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Special shout-outs, tune back in. So, I've got some extended family in town tonight. Couldn't be there because I got to work the draft here, but shout out to Colin, by the way.
Has something happened?
My wife Hannah and PJ are watching at
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men.
And they took Trey Johnson earlier. They could have their backcourt of the future here right now. That would be something. Maybe a guy can beat.
Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting all... Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Arsians will next appear.
Big man, I mean, they have Alex Sarr. I mean, their center rotation, I can't imagine is all that great at this point. So they can go in a lot of different directions here, but if they wanted to go best player available, I don't think it would be a bad idea at all.
You ready for this reporting from Jake Fisher?
Oh, God.
A Nugget source just texted him about the Hanson Yang pick.
Yeah.
Chinese Jokic is the text he got. Okay.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
If he is 30% of Nikola Jokic, he's ahead. The hoops these people will jump through.
Bro, the level just started and we're already getting overrun.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a scion elf.
I don't even think I have a choice.
Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalymo shall accompany you.
Broly is bailed out.
Broly is bailed out.
Ida and Yashtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal...
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on White Orb.
Thank you, Arianger. Everyone, pray, see to your prep... Depart as soon as you are able.
Walter Clayton and Ace Bailey. That's interesting. I don't mind.
Certainly something. Two guys that never seen a shot they didn't like. That is... Yeah. Utah sucks. Oh, my God. This is brutal. This is brutal. This is not good for them. This is not good for them. I mean... CTE ball that will be going on in Salt Lake City this year is downright damaging to the game of basketball.
AAU CTE Jazz.
And look, I like Clayton. I think he's an excellent, fun watch. But as a pro, I just don't think he is a top 20 player in an NBA draft, especially in this one.
To me, the best, maybe you never want to say a best case scenario, but it feels like a best case scenario for him is like a volume 6 man.
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
It's Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
And like, look, Peyton Pritchard, if you got him at 17, maybe that is a hit. Maybe that is a hit. But it's not guaranteed that he's going to get there. And people are making the Curry comparisons. Like, just get that nonsense out of here right now. He is not that. He is not Steph Curry. Nobody's Steph Curry. Nobody will ever be Steph Curry. Hey, Walter Clayton's going to carve his own path, but I don't know how easy that's going to be with Ace Bailey taking all the shots. And they also have a guy like Keontae George who's CTE ball up there, too. It's unbelievable.
Walter Clayton to the Jazz. Do we have trade details? Not seeing any yet. We're getting those on the fly here for you guys. As I will pull it up here. 21 and second round picks for Sean.
21 and second round, so they swap in seconds. That kind of makes sense to what it costs to move up to 18, 3 slots, 2 seconds. That makes me think the Celtics might want to move up as they've accumulated a bunch of second round picks.
Exactly.
Looks like he's to north of them. No, do they not?
I mean, if you're
the team must stay if it wants to rise once for time. Tamlin travels to Oldham and we shall serve as her escort. At my daughter's head, go to contact certain old acquaintances, Guild City.
Here
We are beset on all sides by civil unrest, imperial massacration, threatened by problems troubled by guns, and all the values we can muster. Many of my friends, the power is the power you see, and it's my hope that they can begin to aid the science cause. If past and to toss anything, we know that Erosa must unite for we shall fall.
Is this their second pick of the night, right?
Their second pick of the night.
How I story that my little Scylla is involved in such hard-reaching affairs. Proud that I might now stand at her side, not as a mother, but also as a colleague. Colleague with influential connections, but I feel that old has become a place easier for one familiar for streets. But whoa, the tide, the blackout that much so much glares is in your direction, my lady. This guy is a loser.
You mentioned those centers earlier. There's been Nick
I shall be well protected, it seems. So you'd be on your way then?
Would be a target for Brooklyn in the top 10. Ended up not going that route, but look, they could absolutely go that route now.
Looks like we have an update on the trade, by the way. It looks like it's 21 and 43 going to the Wizards.
Ow! Fuck!
Plus 2 future seconds. Well, Zach Lowe did update his tweet, so... So that's actually, that looks even better for Washington. So they pick up a second this year and 2 future seconds, I think.
As far as the big player available right now, Asa Newell, like, he is a very intriguing prospect. His career could go a lot of different ways. Danny Wolf is a really skilled big man who kind of played a lot of quasi-point guard for the Michigan Wolverines this past year after playing with the Yale Bulldogs. And Brian Kalkbrenner, I want him at 28. Celtics, a real legit rim protector who can board up, feel up, threat, and has a little bit of extended range now as well. Their next team right now, a little bit of a Kristaps Porzingis clone there. Good passing ability, 7 foot stretch big.
I still have some PTSD in the game. That was a rough showing for the boys in purple, but appreciate the 2 from Juan Vachera here. Any prediction for the Warriors pick in the second round? Well, I'll tell you this, Smitty will have that all covered for you guys. Any names that come to mind?
Absolutely. I will also
return to the house game.
Going out on the channel tomorrow once the
Flames were constant scout reporting people soldiers assembling over bonds pushes force is likely interested in one thing, getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. Brilliant could become marching on us at any time. Praise of Lieutenant LC that we might coordinate our counter strategy. We 10 mile before the NOC riding the battle, lead Vulcan Tigers.
Kentucky. I think the Warriors going to go for a shooter this time around. They just clearly didn't have enough down the stretch of the season into the postseason last year. So look for some sharpshooters. They're hovering around that 41 pick range.
Okay, big super chat. Appreciate the 50 from Gwendolyn.
Here's the dumbest supers for the night. But Gwendolyn, you have absolutely been the MVP of the stream so far. Shout out to you. More raffle entries coming your way. Make sure you stick around with us so you can accept your prize when it's all said and done and we do the raffle at the end of tonight's stream.
Be sure, even if you have to go for a little bit, come back around pick 30 just to make sure you get in on that raffle. Absolutely. Winning it. So shout out to Gwendolyn for the 50 and bringing the heat here on Chat Sports.
Oh boy, somebody doesn't do Beerby Harrison.
Yeah.
I feel like that's you, brother.
All right, someone's going to have to go. You want to go get me one, Reed? I can go grip and rip real quick.
Grip and rip, let's go.
Yeah, that works.
So Brooklyn on the board here. I think it would be fine to go best player available, although even though it's Jonas, I'm not so sure that they'll go that route with just drafting a point guard. So the best overall players available right now. Jack, do we have those? I want to see if I can project where Brooklyn's going here. Oh, this is Sneak Clifford. This is Sneak Clifford right now. Yeah. This is Sneak Clifford written all over it. A stabilizer, somebody plays the game the right way, a lead rebounder, can shoot the outside shot, has a little bit of an in-between game as well. I love everything about Sneak Clifford as a player. He's going to be a 10 to 15 year pro, no doubt.
Yeah, excited to see what he could do. He was obviously was that piece of that Colorado State team this past year. So Brooklyn here, we got the Heat at 20. You know, Rolly is feeling fantastic.
Oh my God, he could end up with Jonas at 20.
Well, and he was just in shambles at the idea of.
Yeah. So he's fighting. Dude, this is his dream. This is his dream board right here. Jonas, so we had 6th overall, and then all 3 of the 2 guys in the middle, the mid-major legends, Rasheer Fleming and Nick Clifford, are very high up on his Heat board. And Nolan, this is Rolly's biggest. Like he cannot lose. He cannot lose right now.
Hey, let's do a quick Sam, Jack, can we do a quick Walter Clayton trade-up recap so they can grab a short since he's a notable player? They'll screen grab it out there. You can just ISO me. I can do it real quick. Just spend 30 seconds on it. We have Detroit. And then just like the pickup. I'll do the beer bong here in a second, but some quick thoughts on.
Glad to have you UFC live. As I'm sure Lieutenant Elstein's explained, the Guardians have deployed small forces to capture Meridian. Main column that symbols the north near the elements town that we all expect several squads of some of these could shield themselves on the crunch to the west. They wish to use the rush force to commit to battle with the main column. The detached force to raid the plant and kill us by not much besides, but they are desperate. Captain Ilbert.
And in 2032, so the Jazz get another guard who
Green side, I understand the commander bid Union fellows come lend hands and brave, but such amount of heroes as this puzzle. Force should have little trouble containing the odds Guardians might throw. You cannot be everywhere else. Third was getting rebels pulled up and older, so I marched them out here to fill my any holes in plants against neither of them to counterattack. Reinforced the workers, we enough soldiers down to divide our forces and safely engaged enemy for our down on walls. A, which was best to be avoid station battling right near this much so William wants to take the fight to Guardians. Advised force D, I sure to think of the Constitution and the empty sword change to expose the fire. There are no such signs should join the force to give battle to this main column. You're with the third then, where like your job will be intercept these squads hiding out in the west from reaching the processing plants. When you're ready to proceed towards Lieutenant, you has his scouts should have rapidly where the perils of conceal themselves right now.
Why do they do that? Why the hell did they just say, hey, we're to bed and no one's ready? Why do they do that? To ensure white guards? Brooklyn, you have everything at your disposal right now. Ferrari's a good player, man, but there's other talent in Brooklyn. I don't like this pick. And it's not that I don't like the player. It's all about fit. And I feel bad for him. I don't think he's going to get as big of an opportunity as he maybe anticipated heading into this draft. 6'3" without shoes, 6'8" wingspan. He was projected to be top 5 pick in basketball season. He gets up and down the floor, man. He trains.
controllable assets to do so. So you kind of wonder, is it time to maybe for a reboot? But Pat Riley's 80 years old. Does he want a reboot? That's probably a no. So we'll see what they do here. And obviously, exactly who they end up with, what direction they go, and do they try to go all in at 10, or do they go in the opposite direction and hit that reset button as a franchise? But they are on the clock right now, and we could kind of get a tip of what direction they are going in. Do they take a win now player? There was a lot of Walter Clayton buzz, but he is off the board. Do they take more of a kind of what David Nikola Jovic fears, someone who could develop into something but may not be able to help right away? We'll see which direction they go in. We'll bring in Jeffrey Cooperstein now, host of Mavericks Today. And obviously, there is the surprise. Any thoughts? I mean, we could talk flag. We kind of knew that was coming, but what has stood out to you tonight other than that? Yeah, look, I think the surprising picks have kind of been few and far between. I was pretty surprised about the Ace Bailey pick. That feels like the story of the night, because that was not one of the teams. Yeah, it was pretty well documented. He wanted to stay on the East Coast, and he ends up in Utah, which is
Rating parties are no more than excellent.
so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think another
Gina engineers will be most relieved because the plan is no longer in any immediate danger. Thank you again for your assistance.
but then at that point, why take it out? Yeah, I mean, their bigs are kind of, when Miles Paulman's your best big.
Mr. H4 tells Lieutenant Allen reported sound.
But yeah, that certainly caught our attention. And obviously, Hanson Yang.
For word of your fellows, Lieutenant Allen has reported sound victory of the main kill and unfortunately the science have already tuned in attention to other duties. Of one that is to the Romulan lady with the large executive she's chosen to remain at the site of battle. I know not what that the task keeps returning to civilization.
For those of you that don't know, Jake Fisher might be my mortal enemy on this look, man, what about Nico Harrison? Well, they're on the Mount Rushmore. Yeah, for sure. Look, that was just a very strange pick. My guess is that was an agent promise. They just told his agent, hey, we're going to take this guy. And look, now he's got 1 billion new fans over there in China. So Rolly's about to party. Congratulations to Mr. Yang. The pick is in for the Miami Heat. Rolly's about to party. Rolly's about to party. Any guesses?